Thank you for joining us today to another episode of Embroidery Hub. My name is Willie, and today we're going to be doing gloves. This is going to be reusable gloves. Alright guys, before we get started, I want you guys to follow us on social media, like and subscribe our videos, and well, let's go ahead and get started. Now, last week we did face mask, and I just wanted to show you because I didn't show you last time, and mine, I really like it. I've been using it for over a week, and as in for right now, it's been doing pretty good. I always put a reusable filter as well, so remember to do that to your face mask. If you haven't seen the video, please go back and watch the video after you watch this one, or we're going to be putting the description below as well, the video there. And today we're going to be doing the gloves. These are reusable. I did wash mine. As you can see here, I've been using it for also over a week, and I've been washing it non-stop. It has a little bit of tear here and there, but nothing major. Okay, now these are latex gloves. I've used these black ones, which are not as shiny, and then I have this over here, which is a little bit more shiny. We'll show you that later. We're actually going to be using the purple one, which is this one right here, and these have a little bit more grip. These they lack a little bit of the grip, but they last longer. Okay, so today we're not going to be using too much stabilizer. This is all we're going to be using today, because since this is latex, we want it to be a little stretchy, and if we put a stabilizer, it's not going to stretch, one, and two, it's going to feel kind of rough on your fingers, right? So we're not going to be using stabilizer for the glove. This is basically a stitch that it's like a sewing machine, but we're using the embroidery machine. What we are going to be using is this small stabilizer to make sure we have this design come out nice and neat, and the threads won't be pulling against it. Okay, this is a cutaway stabilizer, and it has a pretty good feel to it. It's not a rough feel, so when you have it on your skin, it feels pretty good. The next thing we're going to be using is our hoop. Now we're going to be using our big hoop just because it's going to be faster. We're going to have the two hands right on this big hoop. You could use the E hoop on your TC or MT, and it's going to do the same thing. Okay, so you guys might be wondering, what is this and what are we going to be using it for? So this is our manual clamp, and this is going to be gripping on the glove, so we're able to make this nice embroidery on it. So you could also use the 8-in-1 hoop. Now the 8-in-1 hoop, you have different sizes. You have a small, a medium, and a large size that will fit on any of your fabric. For example, the small one will fit perfectly on this. Now the way you use this is you get your stabilizer. If you don't have a sticky stabilizer, just use your adhesive spray on it, and it'll stick right behind it. And the last thing you'll do is get some clips, right, and just clip it on the sides, and you should be set. But today we're going to be using this one. I wanted to show you guys how I use it, and it's pretty simple as well. Okay, and the last thing is our fabric, which is this is latex. Okay, so we're going to be using this. I chose latex because most gloves are made with latex, and on top of that, this one has a little different feel on the back. You can find this in a Joann store or Michael's, any fabric store, and it doesn't get as hot. All right, so the first thing is we're going to be putting it over our hoop, whichever hoop you have. I'm using the F hoop for my TC machine, and I'm going to be just cutting it around. So what you could do is you could do either 2 cuts, or you could just, double them, and you don't have to cut it twice. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start cutting this now. The first one's going to be flipped over towards the top, the shiny part on the top, and the second one is going to be on the bottom, because we want to flip this afterwards. We're going to be flipping the glove. All right, so like I said before, we're not going to be using any stabilizer because we want this to be flimsy. Then again, we won't have the thread pulling against it. But if you guys do want to use a little bit less fabric, okay, use some stabilizer. That way you don't use as much fabric. But just remember that you want a little bit, you want it to be a little bit stretchy. So that's all there is to it. So after we're done with the hooping, we're going to be putting this in the machine. Now we will be putting the design on the machine, and the same design, you guys are going to have it on the description below. So make sure you download it. That way you don't have to do anything. Just hoop the fabric, put it in the machine, press the start button. Very simple. let's do it. Okay, so if you guys mainly use hoops A through E, since we're gonna be using the big one, the F hoop, you want to move your brackets over. Okay, and now I'm going to be hooping it. Always make sure you have your bobbin full just in case it doesn't stop halfway. Make sure your arms are nice and tight. And now I'm going to choose my F hoop right here. Remember, you guys could use a smaller hoop. That's fine. Since we're going to be doing both hands at once, we're going to be doing directly on the F hoop, which gives us more space. I'm going to lock the machine. Now this is only going to be one color, so since I have purple, I've chosen only one step of a purple thread, just so it doesn't show on your fingertips. And I'm going to always run a quick trace around to make sure your needle number 1 is not going to hit anything, including metal or your hoop. At this point, I'm going to press the start button and let the machine do its job. All right, we're all set. All right, as you guys can see, it's all done. Now I'm going to just take off the hoop and start cutting around the edges. Now, if you guys can go as close as you can without cutting the thread, it'll be better for the tip of your finger. Once I get here, I'm just gonna cut and leave this for last. It's just easier for me to do it like this and faster. Once I get to this area here, I'm going to make like a U shape. Reason for this is because the glove itself, well, as you can see here, for you to be able to fit your hand completely in it, you want to have it at least up to your wrist. So if you can make it like a U shape, it's gonna look a little nicer. All right, so now that we have them cut on the edges and all around, nice and neat, we're gonna flip them inside out, and that should be it. But remember, we're gonna do a design on it. We're gonna do some embroidery design on it, just to personalize it a little, okay? All right, okay, cool. Now that we're all done, flipping them inside out, we're gonna be using our manual clamp, we're gonna be inserting into the machine, and from that point on, I'll show you what's next. All right, so this is just as simple as putting it in the slots and the other slot. Make sure it's nice and secure. Okay, so we're going to unlock the machine, and then we're going to choose the design. In this case, I want to use the same design, the RiCOMA logo, which is this one here. I already have it inserted into the memory of the machine, so I'm going to leave it as it is. And now I'm going to choose the other hoop. And I have had a lot of questions in this area. When you're using something that's that small and you go in to use the other hoop, because that's for other hoops, right? Which is going to be right here, sorry, right on the hoop selection. And once we press other, we're going to press OK. And you're going to notice here how you won't be able to see the design because there's a cross. Now, the way you find out where your center is you manually go here. For example, we're on number 2, and now we're going to look at needle number 2 and make sure it's in the center of the hoop. And the way we do that is by moving our arrow keys. I like to move them on a slow motion, so you move either left or right until you find the center on needle number 2, right in the center of the hoop. All right, so we're looking at needle number 2. If it helps you to go to needle number 1, you could also do that. I'm just gonna do it with needle number 2. And I'm waiting for it to go right in the middle. And that's about right. So if the design is, actually I'm gonna go a little bit more right there, right in the middle. So if the design is too big, then you know you need to change this. But as in, for now, I know this is the correct size for the design that I have in the, imported into the machine. I'm gonna lock the machine. Now I'm going to hoop this. Open it. All right, so I'm going to show you guys how to hoop it once you're already in the machine. You could also take this part off. It has a knob in the back that you could just take it off, and if you needed, you know, if you want to have more space. But since this is just a glove and it's small, I'm gonna go ahead and put it here. And these have a grip in here that'll hold the stabilizer in place, so you don't have to worry about this thing moving around. All right, so once you have your stabilizer inside, these grips will hold it in place, so you don't have to worry about moving it around. You're gonna put your glove inside. Now, I'm not going to put the glove all the way inside. There's no need for that. If I do, then it'll embroider on the other side and it won't let you put your hand through it. So I just want to grab just a little bit because I'm going to be putting it right at the top. Make sure it's in the center. Right there. Now I'm going to lock it in place. The last thing I want to do is bring out the inside of the glove, bring it inside out of the hoop, just so it doesn't get, the needle doesn't grab it. I'm gonna flip it inside out so the needle doesn't grab it. And now I'm going to trace and make sure I'm in the center. All right, that is it. All right, now that it's done doing the design, I'm going to cut the stabilizer off. Remember, this is a cutaway stabilizer, so I do have to cut it off. I'm going to try to cut it as close as I can to the middle and not leave any tips, just so it doesn't feel like it's poking me. Okay, and here we go. See? I'm gonna flip it back in. All right, guys, so once again, thank you for joining us. Remember to follow us on eCam, Facebook, YouTube, press the like button, and hope to stay safe, stay at home, wear gloves, wear a mask. If you haven't seen the mask video before, it's on the link below. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Bye.